Right, on grade 10, we're now going to do case structures. Instead of a whole lot of nested if statements like you see here, if I num is 5, then we're going to do that. Else if I num is 6, we'll do that. Else if I num is 7 or I num equals 8, then we're going to do that. Else any other number, we're going to do this. Now we can rewrite this into a case structure, which is much simpler, and you'll use case a lot. So we'll say, how you do it, you say case I num of, and then we say 5 and colon, then we say show message A semicolon, and if it's 6 we will show message B. Okay, semicolon. Then we have 7 or 8. Well, you can have 7 comma 8 colon D. Now this else here in this if statement, a whole lot of nested if statements here, said that is meant everything else. It's not any of those other numbers. You're going to show another different message. Wait, this was A, B, C. Here, this was C. Sorry about that. So this, go back again. This else here, this last else means any number that's not 5, 6, or 7. We're going to show a message D. To write that, you write an else after this last sentence here. Else, we will show a message D. So you see how much less code it was to write this case structure than a whole lot of if, then, and else's. So that is the reason why we want to use case, is to make programmers' life simpler, easier, more accurate actually, because if you have a whole lot of nested if else, if then else, if then else, if then else, you're going to have a mess, and you could have inaccuracies there. So now the thing here is this case, this I num is an integer. Okay, you can also have a char over there, you can have a character there. So let's say I want to have C char of, if it's going to be an A, and let's make this one's going to be a B, and let's say this is C comma and then D. Take note of the inverted, single inverted commas over there. Right, so if the C char is an A, then we're going to do this. If it's a B, we're going to do that. If it's a C or a D, we're going to show that message. Else, we will show this message there. Now this else part is not actually, you don't have to have it, but then you must just make sure that you have a semicolon and there has to be an end at the end of it, and then a semicolon. Now you must remember that case has these reserved words, case, C char, then the of statement. So case of, and then you have all your different options and then an end. So that's important. You can have an else here. Else, show message. So message D. Okay. And then a semicolon. But the end is still there. But as I said, this is not, this is optional. This is for if it's every other letter of the alphabet in this case. Right, there's different other ways you can do it. I'll go back to I num. Right, let's say we want numbers in a range, 0 to 10. Okay, and if you have another range of 11 to 15. So I'm using numbers now, so I num is now an integer. And if I have the number 16, comma and 18, I can do that. 16 or 18. Those two numbers. So you can have a range, or you can have two numbers, or you can have three numbers even. And then you're going to do something, show message, show message, show message. Now after the colon over there, in each instance, you have an instruction, just like you normally would do. Or you could have begin and end. So we could have begin here and end. So if you want to do a whole lot of things inside, if it was show message, and then maybe we're going to say x equals x plus 1 or something like that, you know, we'll have some code. You know, we might have other code there that we want to do. So if we have more than one thing that we're going to do for a case, then we use begin and end. Okay, so I'll put another begin and end here after the colon. It's a little messy, but you have to know that if you're going to do more than one thing, in the case of these ranges, then you would use begin and end. So the syntax to remember is case of, then your range, and a colon, and then your list of statements, or just one statement that you're going to do. And then you can have else here, but this end is not going to have a begin, but it automatically comes up, but you must make sure the end is there, that you haven't deleted it by mistake. So case of everything that you want, and then the end over there. Right, now in the textbook it does show you some examples over here. For instance, I'll just magnify this a bit, where you can have case an integer of 29, okay, you're going to do something, and then those numbers you're going to do something, and then a range from 100 to 200, 100 dot dot 200, and then over here we have 12, 13, and then a 20 dot dot 30, so that's a range of 20 to 30. And remember I said that you can have a char over here or an integer. You can also have a Boolean data type. Tomorrow you're going to start with some activities, written activities on the case structure, so that you know how to do it, but I'll have videos for that too. Let's go back to our char data types. Remember, these are dealing with integers. The rules of case is that, okay, we know that you have case of and then end at the end here, but this variable over here has to be either an integer or a char or a Boolean data type. So I've shown you chars. I'm going to show you a Boolean data type, ace b found of true or false. Now obviously with a Boolean data type you wouldn't actually have an else, so you just say true colon and then do something, okay, whatever you want to do, you know, a whole lot of instructions. And false, you just write the word false, because Boolean is either true or false, no inverted commas. And maybe you want to use a whole lot of statements here in begin and end. Maybe we want to use a for loop for k equals 1 to 10 do. You know, you might want to have a loop here, or a whole lot of if statements. You can say if rnum equals 3, then, you know, show message. So basically you do need to have begin and end if you're going to do more than one thing after your colon. So b found true or false. So you can have a Boolean data type. You can have a char there. So let's say C end, the last character of something. Okay. C end of, if the last character is either a hash or a star or a question or a percentage sign. Let me just make that a different color so we can see that it's not the reserved words. Then we're going to do something begin and end. Okay, I don't know what, but we can do a lot of things in begin and end. If it's in the range from A to G, say, then we're going to do something. If it's the letter, capital letter K, or the capital letter L, or if it's in the range of Q to X, then we can do something, begin and end. I'll put that in it to make sure you see that it's different to the rest of the reserved words. So this is your variable here, and if it's so you can have different ways of dealing with this. Here we have a letter K or letter L, or if it's in the range from Q to X, capital X, see that? Then you will do something in begin and end. So you can do a whole lot of things here, begin and end. You can show a message, you can increment a counter, you can rich edit.lines.add statement. You can have all your normal code that you normally say, or you can say lbl dot caption equals something, you know. So these are your structures of your case structure. I mean, use the pun, structure of your case structure. This is how the case structure works. The main thing to remember is that over here you must either put a char or an integer or a boolean, but we don't normally put boolean data types. There's either a char data type or an integer. And if you use chars, then you must make sure you use single inverted commas. Okay. You can have a range of characters from A to G, so that'll be all the characters A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This will be if it's a capital K or a capital L, or it's a range from Q to X. And also remember that you can use either one thing that you're going to do here, or let's say we're going to increment Y. Okay, you add 1 to Y there, just a random thing. You can have one statement for condition, or you can have more than one thing that you're going to do if this condition is met. So that's chars, and I've showed you the integers. And go and study your book, and then tomorrow you will do some activities, written activities. So today was not a difficult day. You just have to watch the video and memorize your case structure. Know that it's replacing all of these nested if statements. Okay, see you tomorrow.